Okay. Hey guys, I'm Nick. Um, I'm good to go. Cool. So this is my talk, making accessibility fun by adding a gun. All right. So first things first, a little bit about myself. My name is Nick. I am the co-founder, studio head, and art director of a indie studio called AgroCrab. We're based right here in Seattle, and there's about 12 of us right now. Woo! Thank you. We're right now working on our second game, which is called Another Crab's Treasure. Yeah, we kind of doubled down on the whole crab thing, but it's a long story. We have a demo out now with Steam Next Fest, which started today. So this talk has not been rehearsed super well, so I apologize if I stumble. I've been very busy lately, but without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, a little bit about our game. What is Another Crab's Treasure? It is a Souls-like, that's right, about a hermit crab who goes on this grand adventure to buy back his shell that's been stolen from him. And in order to get your shell back and go on this, dangerous journey, you have to wear the garbage that's been polluting the oceans as a shell in order to defend yourself from the monsters that you'll face along the way, right? So a lot of fun there. But what was that about Souls-like? Oh, no, I skipped. I'm just gonna make you guys watch the trailer to kill time. I have some time. I don't know if this is working for the Zoom viewers. I apologize, but follow us on Twitter if you want to see it. That was totally working. Yay, that's our video game. Thank you. So like I said, that was a Souls-like. I hopefully you saw some Souls-like DNA in that, but if you didn't, that's fine. Let's talk about Souls-likes for a sec. What is a Souls-like? According to Wikipedia, it is a subgenre of action role-playing game known for its high levels of difficulty and emphasis on environmental storytelling, typically in a dark fantasy setting. Now, that last line trips me up a bit, right? Because, okay, let's look at some Souls games, especially from Software, the game who invented them. Dark fantasy setting. That looks right. These are all dark fantasy games. They share a lot of similarities, but they're also unique in their own way. But you kind of see this pattern going on, right? And then you see our game, a little different. A little more colorful, not that that's better, but just different, right? And that was intentional. And that was something we thought about from day one of just like, here is this genre, Souls-like, that's limited by its aesthetic. And when you think of a game genre, generally when we're talking about that, we're talking about how you play the game, the mechanics, right? So we thought, why has this limitation been imposed on what these kinds of games can look and feel like? Because it's not just From Software's games that have this look. It's a lot of the Souls-like, like is the key word here, games in the genre that emulate this, right? We see these people making Soul-style games, and they stay very close to the source material, in my opinion. We wanted to specifically challenge this aspect and make a game that totally looks like a different thing in order to expand the genre and just have room for kind of different kinds of ideas in it, because we love Souls games. We just think there's room for more. Which got us thinking about, okay, how exactly do we want to position our game in this market? How do we explain when we're talking to our players and the investors we're pitching to how this game's a Souls-like and what our angle is? So we kind of got these catchphrases and ways of thinking about it from pretty early on. For example, Baby's first Souls-like, Nintendo's take on a Souls-like, and my favorite, Dark Bob Souls Pants, right? Because we're an indie studio. We're struggling to get by, not struggling, but it's hard to get noticed in a sea of great games, right? We have to stand out. So this was our angle. And I mean, as another point, right? Like with a game like this that looks like this, we kind of needed to explain to people that, like, yes, this is a Souls-like, but this is your entryway into Souls. It looks easier, and maybe it'll be a bit easier, or maybe it'll be a bit more approachable. And what do I mean when I say approachable? Because I would say Souls games to some could be pretty unapproachable. I would say approachability is different from accessibility. When we talk about accessibility, we're talking about like hard barriers to certain demographics or people with disabilities and stuff like that. And approachability is more just like that feeling of, this isn't for me. I'm not the audience. This doesn't really do it for me. It's uninviting, right? So we identify these things as things that might be uninviting to certain players. Obviously not to others. Elden Ring is one of the best-selling games of all time. They're doing fine. You want to limit your audience. That's what an audience is, right? But for us, we wanted to figure out what of these things we wanted to explore, right? So grimdark aesthetic, that's not for us. Cryptic storytelling, you know how you'll have to watch like a 3-hour YouTube video to understand what's going on in a Souls game? Like, I don't know. Lack of quest markers, you're kind of just exploring the world without any direction. And of course, what the genre is known for, the punishing difficulty. We wanted these final two things. We wanted the mechanics of Souls games. So Another Crab's Treasure is actually really difficult, right? It's just that those aesthetic hallmarks just aren't our style. But when we talk about difficulty in From Software games, there's a whole conversation about it already, right? And we've recognized that. I'm sure you guys have kind of heard of this, that the Souls games, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, notoriously don't have difficulty settings or assist options or anything of that sort. There's only one form the game takes, and you're expected to play it. And this has led, in some circles, to a pretty toxic mentality among gamers where they're really proud of that fact. They want it so that they can feel, I don't know, I guess accomplished that they were able to beat this really difficult game. And for some reason don't want options that they don't have to press. You control the buttons you press in a video game. They don't want those options there for anyone else, right? So that's kind of a discourse that's been happening. And yeah, I mean, we think that's pretty stupid. And with a game like ours, again, I'm talking about this all, what does the aesthetics have to do with accessibility? We're talking about how we wanted to differentiate ourselves in this market, right? And so by adding some options for more players to get their foot in the door, that's one way of us doing that. And it led to headlines like this, which make me pretty happy. Another Crab's Treasure does what Elden Ring won't. I love that, right? Hold on. That's great for us. We did it. We're marketing. We have an article. So it's a win-win, right? But then I don't know. Anyway, let's just get into it, right? Like, what are some of our options? This is our assist menu for the game. So this is where to go to change the difficulty. I keep saying difficulty, and I know this, like, difficulty isn't the same as accessibility, but like inherently they're kind of connected because your barrier to the challenge versus your skill is, it's all connected, right? I'm just going to talk about it. This is our assist menu, and this is how to make the game easier. So we elected not to do traditional difficulty settings like easy, normal, hard, nightmare, whatever. Instead, we have this a la carte menu where you can choose exactly what parts of the game you want to make more forgiving, because folks might have different aspects of the game that they're struggling with, right? If platforming is difficult, you can prevent pitfall damage. if your reaction times aren't quite there, you can increase the window necessary to parry, stuff like that. But of course, the reason we're all here is to talk about the final option on this list, which is to give Krill a gun. So when you flip that toggle to give Krill a gun, it will spawn a giant pistol on your butt, just like that. Like your hermit crab and your butt's in the magazine hole of the gun. I don't know what it's called, but it's like that, and it's funny. And when you hide in the shell, it points the gun out, and by the press of a button, you will kill any enemy in the game, even bosses, in one hit for free. So it's the ultimate easy mode, right? You win. Here's a little video of the gun in action. Hold on.
Video games nowadays are just way too difficult, but luckily for us, we have assist modes in games to give us stuff like reduced damage taken, lower enemy health, give our character a gun. Video games nowadays are just way too difficult, but luckily—
Oh my god, shut up. Okay. Yeah, so why did we do that? Why did we let Krill have a gun? Why did we put that in the video game? This is why. TikTok. We wanted to farm TikTok views because we thought it would be entertaining and clickbaity, and obviously it worked great. We got a lot of mileage out of the gun. The one in the top right, that's actually from IGN's TikTok. So that's awesome for us, right? It wasn't until later that we had the idea, well, because we didn't know where to put the gun in the game, right? But it wasn't until later when I was like, okay, what if it was in the assist menu? And at first I was kind of scared of this idea because I was scared of y'all. And right, because like accessibility, it is a serious topic and it's something I take seriously, but this is a very silly approach to it. So I wasn't sure how it would be received. And on top of that, there's like, it's just a kind of a provocative thing. Like, what is this commentary on gun violence? Is gun violence too accessible? I don't know. But, you know, like, instead of anyone getting mad, here I am giving a talk about it. So I guess it's great. So what is good about this? Letting the player have a gun. After thinking about it, my answer to that would just be that, like, it's the ultimate antithesis of that Souls traditional mentality of you play the game this way in order to have a valid win. And we're just like, nope. Right? Like, why not? And on top of that, right, like we could have done that in a lot of ways. We could have let you do infinite damage with every swing. And instead there's this other thing. And that's really just because I think accessibility can be fun. Why? Because it's there to let you have more fun with the video game. So if that's the end goal, why not have a gun, right? Why not transform the experience of accessibility to not just let you have the most of the existing game, but have you get a unique experience on top of that? Have fun or else. And yeah, in conclusion, I'm wondering if more games will do this, right? Like, do I think everyone's going to play with the gun and that's the way that they're going to experience the game? I mean, maybe not. Maybe some people will, but I think a lot of people will get a kick out of it if they give it a try. And so if more games can incorporate that fun angle, then that's, I think, worthwhile. Thanks. Download the demo, wishlist the game. 2024. Thank you.